So I'm still feeling out the rules here on YouTube's, so pardon me if I don't write out the word pussy cake in the title of this one. Recently, we've had a lot of rock and roll horror movies. We got a film a while back called Deathgasm, where a death metal band takes on legions of demons. Another one called Spare Parts, where an all-girl rock band is forced to fight in gladiatorial games. And then we got another rock and roll horror feature just a little while ago, featuring a band who takes on a vampire roadie called Uncle Peckerhead. This year's rock and roll horror battles alien-infested zombies. It's called Pussy Cake, and let's just plow on ahead and stop challenging the censors with the name of the movie, shall we? Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Pussy Cake, aka Emesis, is new on demand from Cinedigm and streaming on Screambox. It's directed by Pablo Perez and written by Maxi Ferzola, Hernan Moyano, and Pablo Perez. When a scientist disappears after opening a trans-dimensional portal, his brilliant child mournfully attempts to redo the experiment. This only fucks things up even more when that dimensional portal begins to grow in size and scope, and strange insect critters flood through the portal, infecting and implanting eggs into the populace. This occurs just as a band called Pussy Cake is passing through the perimeter of the portal, causing their van and cell phones to stop working. Inside this circle, the critters attach themselves to the heads of humans, turning them into mindless zombies and causing them to vomit a white substance into the mouth of others to incubate eggs in order to make more slimy monsters. One creature, tough as nails and armed to the teeth, seems to be waging a one-man war on the critters, and Pussycake plops right in between that creature and the critters. Pussycake's carnage is non-stop from about the half-hour mark until the very end. Like the film's portal that is expanding exponentially, the action doubles upon itself the longer it plays out until the credits roll. Not many films can deliver this level of intensity for so long, but Pussycake is able to maintain it because of the crucial first 30 minutes while we're introduced to the members of the band. Now, that doesn't mean that all of the characters are fleshed out completely. They're all just kind of bad girls with hearts of gold, with two of them, Elle Cake and Sarah Cake, played by Maca Suarez and Aldana Roberto, in a relationship, and Elle recovering from being in an abusive relationship prior to that. The main difference between the gals, who seem to love each other dearly, is their over-the-top outfits that they sport. I must admit, while this is a rather surface-level way of distinguishing one character from another, it's an effective one, as every outfit is original-looking, form-fitting, and distinctive. I especially love Elle's fur coat, which has glowing polka dots under the surface of the fur. The distinct look also seems to reflect the personality of each band member, with the wilder one who experiments with drugs wearing a psychedelic fluorescent jumpsuit, and the more guarded one covered in the aforementioned bulky fur protecting her from the world. These little thematic nods in the costuming add some thematic heft. Basically, this is an alien invasion story, one we've seen before. There's nothing about the premise that is particularly different than, say, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or the way the xenomorphs are incubated in the Alien series. It's basically like any other movie where the human race is threatened with an alien infection. The thing is, with the pandemic in our rear windows, the very visceral way the infected transmit their eggs is bound to make folks squirm. Those with a vomit phobia are going to want to take a pass on this one. There's just so much puke and grossness in almost every scene of Pussy Cake. The alien spew sprays out of the mouths of the infected like a garden hose on full blast, drenching the faces of their victims in slimy goo. Not only that, but there are numerous scenes of carnage because if the monsters can't infect you, they decide they might as well tear you apart. There's an especially gnarly scene where someone gets multiple whacks to the face with a machete that is downright inspired. By the time this one ends, everyone is covered in blood, red spatters, and gooey slime. I also liked how this film turns conventions on its ear. In films like Critters and even Terminator, the aliens are followed by hunters bound to track down the monsters and eradicate them. This type of monster arrives midway through Pussy Cake, And while most of the time the hunter teams up with the human heroes to save the day, Pussycake turns the tables and refuses convention. Because some of the members of the band are infected and the uninfected bandmates don't know the rules of the critter monsters, when they see their bandmates in trouble with the hunter monster, infected or not, they're going to defend them. So the monster becomes another obstacle for the band to take on. Sure, had they taken a minute to understand the monster's intentions, they might have had a team up, but the pace was so frantic that there really just isn't time for a meeting of the minds. Much like Fury Road, Pussycake never lets up until the very end. Its engine never runs out of fuel, and while there are moments of nice tension and suspense, most of the time it's just gals screaming, vomiting, and bleeding out everywhere. In the middle of it all is a pretty potent love story between Elle and Sarah, but it never gets in the way of the carnage. The emotional heft just makes it hit home harder. Every year there's a film that seems to use a silo of blood in order to display absolute carnage. Well, Gorehounds, Pussycake is this year's bloodbath, and it delivers a whole lot of gory excitement and bloody fun.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're